in the United States, the USCCB adopted directives also for a 3-year basis, the directives for the implementation of the provisions of Vos Estis. And in the directives for implementation, there is further specificity about providing assistance to victims and survivors of sexual abuse, and also further a specification about the kinds of persons that should be involved as the qualified persons to whom the metropolitan or the senior suffragan can go. But those, the way I read it, are still somewhat optional at the metropolitan's discretion, and not as clear. I think most dioceses are very clear about who is appointed to the review board and what are their expertise. And I think that we don't necessarily have that clarity with who is the metropolitan going to consult. And there's pros and cons on that. I think what we came up with prior to Vos Estis, when we were talking about some of this with the USCCB Committee on Canonical Affairs, we were talking about something like a national review board. We weren't going to use that term because we already have a national review board. It doesn't handle cases, but talks more about policy, but some kind of a national commission. The advantage if we had one body like that that would deal with all cases in the US would be some consistency and uniformity. The downside is, of course, you could have allegations from all over the country, and where would that commission be? Where would they come from? So in that regard, the metropolitan model is, I think, a good approach. It makes it regional, it makes it local, but I think the downside of that is a possibility for unevenness. I mean, so in a metropolitan and a large metropolitan archbishop in a large metropolitan area may have lots of experts that he can call on in psychology, sociology, and the law, whereas a smaller province, the metropolitan, may be hard-pressed to find that kind of expertise. And so the result is there may be some unevenness around our country and how these things are dealt with.